With the planetary magnetic shifts combined with the Capricornian alchemy of fermentation, many of us are having intense ascension symptoms while we are undergoing stages of spiritual activation. We're having an embodiment of the higher level of the vertical channels and magnetism that is inherent in the female principle. And this has created potentially new activations in our pituitary gland, as well as adjusting a specific cranium bone, which has mostly been dormant, manipulated, or implanted to stop its higher functioning. This is called the sphenoid bone. The sphenoid bone is the only bone that connects to all the other bones of the cranium, and its movement is responsible for milking the pituitary gland to secrete its hormones. The pituitary gland is situated in the sphenoid bone at the base of the brain. The pituitary gland secretes 9 hormones that regulate homeostasis. As the master gland of the body, it produces many hormones that travel throughout the body, directing certain processes or stimulating other glands to produce other hormones. This also impacts the pineal gland that produces melatonin, a serotonin-derived hormone that affects the modulation of sleep patterns in both seasonal and circadian rhythms. With metabolic changes occurring from intense magnetic shifts, people are experiencing great changes or disruption in their sleep patterns and bodily rhythms. Heart rate, breathing, sleeping, and eating patterns may feel they are changing. Individually, the pineal and pituitary provide key influences in our spiritual awakening to become awakened into sacred union or hiragami. The sphenoid activates these 2 individual glands to merge their energies in the brain and alchemically produce a new hormonal substance. The merging of these glandular energies allows the cosmic heart energies from the Godhead to be transmitted into the pineal gland, which communicates to the pituitary in order to merge with the physical earthly energies that the master gland regulates. The activation potential in the human body is coming online with the pituitary gland's higher functioning, which impacts the sphenoid bone's alignment in our skull, which acts as the housing for the pituitary gland. This area of our skull is a cosmic resonator of the unified consciousness of Christ or oneness. The cosmic energy that is transmitted through the sphenoid bone is also transmitted electrotonally into the planetary grid pattern and instruction set. And this particular blue ray language appears on the ley lines as the etheric light blue butterfly pattern. The butterfly pattern is seen in the shape of the actual sphenoid bone, which looks similar to our pelvic bone except it's inside our skull. In the third eye or in the center of your brain, that is the area where the sphenoid bone is, and it is shaped as butterfly wings. This bone and this area of the inner skull is a receptor and receiver for cosmic energy. When a grid worker is working with the planetary field or ley lines, or when communicating or connecting with the earth elementals, this would be the area of the brain where you place focus. When focusing or directing energy, cosmic energy from the center of your third eye into your object of concentration, this area is the point of reference for the location of the center of the sphenoid bone. The cosmic intelligence transmitted from the central sphenoid is capable of holographically projecting outwards into the field into butterfly patterns, and this becomes imprinted upon the earth grid. This intelligence field transmission is called Dorsey scroll language. This is an Edenic language that communicated with the nature spirits, elementals, fairies, and the natural kingdoms on a planetary body, and this language was originally on the planet Tiamat. Dorsey scroll is a Christic elemental language that re-encodes the morphogenic field pattern with the Edenic state of energetic balance, which refers to holding the balance between the mother and father principle in union as a trinity force. It is being used currently to restore the trinity balance into the earth grid through the restoration of the feminine principle of creation. It's about creating the tri-wave patterns to run throughout the planetary brain and grid networks in order to produce what is known as chalice configurations. Chalice configurations are fountains of life force that exist on active portals, are the energy potentials generated between the white hole and black hole spin points. of which balanced energy current can be created in a grid network to directly exchange feedback loops with the zero-point field. The butterfly pattern is what seals or stabilizes the grid by aligning the language between the elemental energies and local natural forces, creating multiple feedback loops which allow the chalice pattern to flow more life force energy into that particular area of the planet. The chalice configurations in larger centralized planetary networks are also called diamond hearts. They are the central heart hubs that circulate life force into many different tributaries in the grid and run different frequency currents into specific areas. The diamond hearts in the Earth grid network prior to reptilian invasion timelines used to emanate life-giving pranic and spiritual energetic force into the human collective consciousness fields, nourishing all life forms on the planet, and were a source of free and abundant energy. Gradually, through the planetary hosting changes, the diamond hearts and chalice configuration are systematically being reprogrammed into the planetary grid networks to be able to transmit cosmic divine mother frequencies back into our planet and human bodies. As a Christic being with an activated sphenoid, we're able to transmit cosmic energy directly from our sphenoid and that particular aspect of our higher pituitary gland function, which is unifying with our brain hemispheric processes, and that connects our pineal and pituitary glands into unified functioning. When our pituitary and pineal glands unify their higher hormonal functions, it generates a brain consciousness elixir. Crystal waters is also known in the Eastern philosophy as amrita, and is a fluid that can flow from the pineal gland and pituitary gland when in correct relationship in the brain, in deep states of activated kundalini or meditation. With the fully activated sphenoid, we have a crystal palace located in our brain space, and this performs this consciousness function, which potentially helps to reset the elemental patterns of the Earth grid in the Earth brain from the projections made from our own brain. At this level of heightened consciousness, it is possible to project the patterns of perfection from our own brain into the Earth brain. The small amount of Orifem on the Earth currently, as well as Christic people on the Christos mission, are able to perform this service of creating unity fields for the Earth. The sphenoid is the highest link in the skull as it is the keystone. This area in the skull is referred to as the Holy of Holies in the structure of God's temple. Our entire body is made in certain mathematical proportions which emulate the architectural pattern of the crystal cathedral or crystal palace, and within the body's mathematical alignment, the sphenoid would be considered the Holy of Holies, the most sacred space. It's where the Holy Spirit, the cosmic intelligence of the Godhead, is directed from the Holy of Holies, and through that particular pattern that is infused with the bright illumination of the God Source, it configures into this butterfly pattern, like the shape of our own sphenoid. I hope this is helpful to connect the dots as some of us are undergoing another intense integration phase with many metabolic changes impacting the physical body. Take good care and be well.